Hello and welcome to Comment Below, a podcast where we talk about the news and the topics of the week, but more importantly, what has been commented below. We delve into the mess that is our social media, finding the stories you may or may not be talking about. Isn't that right, Ben?
That is correct, Alex. And don't forget, this is now day 3, but we're letting everyone know because this is the main show, more viewers. We're doing Vlogmas, so we have a mini podcast released every day at 6 p.m. UK time.
Up until the 24th of December.
All about Christmas, different topics each episode. You don't know what you're going to get.
It would be strange if we were talking about, like, the summer solstice for Christmas.
Well, you never know. You never know what's going to come.
Are we going to do that one episode? Okay,
Maybe.
I'll put that down as an idea.
So make sure you're subscribed and tuning in every day for us for our Advent calendar celebrations.
I mean, you can subscribe to us on YouTube because we are also not just a audio podcast, we are visualized, as the BBC like to say.
Yes,
we are also
there's a
video
word for it now,
podcast,
isn't there?
Visualized.
A cheap TV show, visualized podcast.
Visualized, exactly. So we're a cheap TV show. So if you are watching us on YouTube, which you can find us by searching Comment Below Podcast. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe, and ring the bell to never miss an episode. You can also get in touch with us on Twitter at Comment Below Pod, Instagram at Comment Below _pod, or email commentbelowpod@gmail.com. When I say Twitter, I mean, of course, X, but at the moment I'm in a real quandary of what is it, one or is it the other? I was reading an article, funnily enough, because this is Comment Below, about Elon Musk. Apparently he's deliberately trying to make X fail so he can file for bankruptcy.
Yes, well, people are saying that because they're trying to grasp at the idea that he's a genius. Where his fans are like, well, he's doing it on purpose. What's the reason? Why? Because everyone keeps saying, what would be the reason he's doing this? But it isn't because of that. Because if he does that, he loses his stock in Tesla, which he used for the loan. And he would lose his majority in Tesla if Twitter X does go.
Oh, is that true? I didn't actually know that. This was actually from
That's from the
Time.
comments below.
Brilliant. This is actually from Time Magazine. I got that information from. The source was from Time Magazine. So I would have thought it would be a reputable read, but I guess they didn't do their research. They didn't go on Reddit like you.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, people are just desperate because they keep calling him a genius, and it's like,
I know he's not a genius, don't get me wrong.
That's why the Elon Musk fans are desperate to be like, well, there must be a reason why he's doing this, because he told advertisers who are boycotting X to F off.
Yes, in an interview recently,
and they did. And they have
in droves. Apple, Disney, IBM, to name but a few. But
Strictly Come Dancing.
Yes, but now he's kind of saying, "Oh, I didn't want them there anyway." He's like the kid at school who like pushes away people who try and be his friends, and he's like, "Well, I didn't like them anyway." But I'm really curious about Elon Musk because he's obviously got. I've talked about this before. He's got an autobiography out, not written by him. It's been written by someone else who wrote the Steve Jobs autobiography, and he was doing an interview on radio, and it's really interesting to hear the bits and pieces about Elon Musk. So I do actually really want to read that book. I'm not advocating that I like Elon Musk. I'm not one of the fanboys on Twitter or X or whatever who go on and gush about how wonderful he is.
The Blue Tick Boys.
Yeah, is that what they're called?
I know, that's
a good name though, the Blue Tick Boys. Yeah, I'm not one of the Blue Tick Boys, but at the same time, I bet he's got a really fascinating history, and from what I've kind of heard tidbits of it, I reckon it's quite interesting. Anyway,
he's an idiot. Anyway.
Yes.
So before we start our topics, I had something come in my head today.
Did you?
Well,
wow.
This week. I don't know where it came from. Something happened. I think I was just following an Asda van and they were doing a supermarket drop-off, and it made me think of the substitutes that they do with online shops. Well,
may I say that when it was lockdown, as a little job, I actually got a job doing the online shopping in the store. So I was scanning the items. So I am a bit of you could argue, I should know what substitutes people were given. And they were quite strange 9 times out of 10, but we only did what the gun told us to do.
The AI overlords.
They weren't. They were the management back in wherever the management offices are for this current supermarket.
Okay, well, that's good then. With your experience, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I want you to work out what the supermarket substituted which thing for, and see if you can get them correct or not.
Okay.
And this just proves how weird it is. So we're starting with Aldi. They substituted a Ben & Jerry's fish food. What did they substitute it?
Aldi? I didn't know they did. Oh, they do click and collect, don't they, Aldi now? Okay.
Fish food.
Fish food. Well, I'm presuming then it's some kind of pet food they substituted it for. So they probably substituted it for like some cat, like Dreamies or something like that. When logic should dictate that they should swap it for another ice cream.
Ice cream, yeah.
This is what I mean. Logic doesn't exist when it comes to substitution.
Okay, well, this one was... So you're thinking a pet food or range. Well, this was fish fillets. Breaded fish fillets.
What, wrapped in ice cream? Yum, yum.
Aldi, again, they swapped milk for what item?
Now, we actually sometimes had milk substitutions, and they would go through every single type of milk. So if someone wanted the blue top... whole milk, they would then say, substitute for semi-skimmed. If you don't have that,
Makes
substitute
sense.
for skimmed. If they don't have that, substitute for gold top, full, cream milk. So I would imagine that milk is quite an easy substitution, so just substitute with another type of milk.
Do you think that would hit the headlines?
No, but that's what logic should
Okay,
dictate.
well, this was... don't know where this comes from. Cooking oil.
I mean, I do regularly deep fat fry fish fillets in milk. And you can cook fish in milk.
No, this isn't fish. This is swapping milk.
I know, but the Aldi
So they swapped the
might...
ice cream for fish fillets and then swapped the milk for cooking oil because you can still cook your fish fillet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be the same shopping list.
So Sainsbury's swapped scouring sponges for what? They're the sponges used when you're washing up with the bristly.
Brillo pads.
Yeah. So what do they swap that for?
Again, it should be a cleaning product, like a sponge. If it was
Bottle of bleach.
Yeah, if it was a far-flung thing, it'd be like a washing up liquid or rubber gloves. But I bet it's something like a pineapple.
Have you given up guessing?
No, that's my guess, pineapple.
It was a Victoria sponge cake.
Yeah, but the scowl is not a sponge. If it was a sponge, then it would make sense to swap it with sponge.
Or a cake. Okay, Sainsbury's also replaced brandy butter with what item?
Well, again, logic should dictate a bottle of brandy and a packet of Lurpak.
Okay.
But I'm sure logic doesn't dictate that. So just to make a quote from the wonderful TV series Bottom, vodka margarine.
Beef stock.
Yes, of course.
Makes sense. So, okay, Morrison's, you may know this. Use your knowledge. Swapped a bottle of domestic cleaning product for what?
Not
a pineapple.
Not a pineapple. I said pineapple because you could probably use it as a cleaning for a pan. It's got a sharp outside. A cleaning product. I don't know, Windoline?
A bottle of squash or diluting juice.
I was about to say diluting juice, depending on your area of...
I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's like swapping bleach for a glass of water. You drink them both.
I mean, it would be worse if you swapped the juice for bleach. Imagine if the kid said, "Mum, I'm thirsty. Oh, just get the juice from the bag that's been delivered." And they find the bleach.
Waitrose swapped Trojan XXL condoms for what? No, I'm joking. Could you imagine?
Waitrose.
XXL Trojan condoms for...
No, Waitrose, it would be like an octopus.
So, Waitrose swapped shaving foam for what item?
Octopus.
XXL Trojan condoms.
Yes.
Tampons.
I should have guessed by your joke, really.
And finally, Tesco swapped duct tape for what item?
It's funny you say duct tape. For years, and I'm not joking, up until very recently, I thought it was called duct tape, as in a duck, as in quack quack, until I was corrected by your dad. Duct tape, rope, because you could use both things in a hostage situation.
Well, you were very close with your duck. Duck paste is what they swapped it with.
Duck paste.
Yes. The skanky stuff that people put on sandwiches sometimes. Yeah.
Pate.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm not the only one who... Oh, God, I remember when I had to pick sandwich paste. Like, who buys sandwich paste nowadays?
Reminds me of my mum.
Gross. It's like, does your mum eat it?
I think so. Like from the jar.
Oh, that's foul.
I know, it's good, disgusting.
Absolutely foul.
Stinks. So there you go. That was a nice little quiz to start the day off for everyone.
Talking about a throwback from the old days, like sandwich paste, some viewers or listeners from the UK may or may not have noticed that on ITV they brought back Deal or No Deal after, I think, a 8-year hiatus, a long time since it's been on TV.
Yeah, well, I think Deal or No Deal went way too far anyway. It should have been cancelled like 4 years before it was.
Well, the series on Channel 4 basically took the concept of Deal or No Deal, which actually, and I will argue this to the end, is a good format. it's an interesting format, it's a fun format, and changed it so much that it stopped being Deal or No Deal, to the point that we watched like an episode and they were on a train and they were asking random people on the train what box they were going to take for the person who was playing the game.
Really?
Yeah. Don't you remember we watched that?
No, I remember when I started watching it, there was like a switch button and then like a double banker offer, and then like there was all these weird things like you can swap a box or mix a box.
That was strangely a little bit later, earlier on. So there was something where the banker could look at your box before the end of the game, which was a really dumb idea in my opinion, because then the banker's got all the power. He had enough power as it starts, if you think about it, but then he took all the power. And then you're right, at the end of the game, if you made it to the very end and you got to the very last box, you then had the choice of whether you wanted to swap your box for number 23. Number 20. It might be 23, which is like so there's 22 boxes.
Extra box.
And that box basically either had double, triple, keep the same, half, or go home with nothing. And it's like, that's really dumb.
The whole thing's silly.
So they really did change the game, but they've gone back to.
So they cancelled it and ITV brought it back.
They cancelled it. ITV brought it back. They've gone back to its roots, like they did with Big Brother. ITV seem to have a trend at the moment of bringing back
the set's
old
a bit
shows.
Flashy though. I've only seen one promo picture and I just don't want to watch it.
It has to be the exact same. It has to be the exact same set, just with more lights. I'm telling you that. It's the same studio in Bristol. I'm 100% it is. I'm 100% it is. Interesting fact for no one: the studios where they filmed the original Deal or No Deal in Bristol is the same studios they filmed the remake of The Crystal Maze. So there you go.
Yeah, they can bring that back.
And any American viewers would know that as The Crystal Maze on Nickelodeon. That's hosted by that guy who knows everything, Adam
Conover.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. So there you go. A little link for you, the Americans out there. So, but it's not a kids show in the UK. It's an adult show. Who'd have funked it? Anyway, so so a lot of people have kind of reminded themselves that Deal or No Deal has always been around about like people like being a love-in. It's like a love fest on Deal or No Deal. And someone
they do a lot of emotional stuff, don't they, on there? Yeah,
and someone on Reddit basically summed it up, I thought, really well by saying the 250 and 50,000 boxes are left. The banker makes an offer of £4,800. Tense music, lots of pounding across the nervous faces of other players. Then back to the main player. The host begins to open his mouth to say something when suddenly one of the other players in the background decides to pipe up with some wisdom. Mate, if you take the 4,800, then that's fine. But if you risk it, then you could end up with 50,000, which is way more money and would be fantastic for you. But then there's also a chance you end up with £250, which is less than 4,800. The host and the main player both nod sagely in agreement, as if any of that wasn't fucking obvious in the first place. So yeah, this is what Deal or No Deal was about, isn't it? It's like they just have...
But ITV don't even have the 250,000 box.
No, they've reduced it to 100,000.
So it makes it even more stupid, because I saw I think it was on X, I saw some comments when they were like, the offers were really pointless because the money was so close together that even though they had loads of the big ones left,
they were still getting low offers.
Yeah, so it's like it makes the whole game pointless.
And I'm sure that they're also doing the offers lower because ITV have said we don't want to spend as much money as when Channel 4 ran it. Because Channel 4 couldn't have been running that show on a loss. And yes, obviously it was much more popular when it was the first time around, but I can't understand where 15 to 20 years on, ITV have thought to themselves, actually, no, we lower the prize money, because that's, I don't know, it just feels weird that they've done that. It doesn't make much sense to me.
I don't know how it's doing, but I've not really seen much chat about it.
Well, on this Reddit post, a lot of people are actually kind of getting onto it. They're kind of saying, oh, it's quite nice to see it back to as it was.
Well, I've not bothered watching any of it because it annoyed me before, but Stephen Mulhern hasn't drawn me in. So. But
lots of shows have a second try, a third try, a fourth try even. And I was wondering if there's any shows that have come back that you've kind of been pleased to see back. Crystal Maze was actually one I mentioned, but they ruined that by making them all celebrity editions.
Yeah, that's the thing. They bring them back and it's good for a bit, like Crystal Maze, and then they do celebrity edition and then it ruins it. Family Fortunes did the same.
No, Family Fortunes was good when they did. The funny thing is, that's one of the exceptions to the rule. Family Fortunes is, again, one of my favourite game shows. I love game shows, and Family Fortunes is by far one of my, if not the favourite game show of all time for me. I think the format works, it's great, it's fun, it's a fast format. Even though ITV did what they always do and extended it to an hour, it still was fine when Vernon Kay hosted it with the celebrities.
Yeah, but I would have preferred it without, but it was still okay.
Yeah, and then Gino DeCampo came along and ruined my favourite game show of all time by being Gino de fucking Campo, because he's a dickhead.
They got rid of celebrities celebrities and got normal people. So okay, that's good. But then he's presenting.
But then they brought in Gino D'Acampo. Yeah. Gino, I'm Italian. That's my personality trait. Campo is such a dickhead. And I'm sorry to anyone who likes him, but comment below. Tell me while I'm wrong.
Also, catchphrase came back.
That was good,
really
because
good.
they didn't have the celebrities.
Yeah, and now celebrities, that's all they do. They don't ever do, so it just annoys me.
Stephen Mulhern is the king of game show comebacks, isn't he? So he's doing Deal or No Deal now. He's done catchphrase. They tried, I don't know if you remember.
Blankety Blank was good for like a few episodes, but that's boring now. They brought that back with...
But again, this is another thing, and I think this is a problem with television in general. They bring back something, it's quite popular, people enjoy watching it, so then they make 3 series a year of it. Do you know what I mean? What's wrong with just making 1 series a year? The Traitors, they only make 1 a year.
Well, they've got celebrities now.
Not the UK version.
No, the other ones.
Well, maybe we'll keep that announcement for when we do our Traitors podcast, Faithful to the Traitors, which you can actually find on our YouTube page, Band Productions. But do you remember about 6-7 years ago, they tried... I know, you were in a drunken mess. And they tried to bring back the Generation game with Mel and Sue.
No.
It was awful. It was like a car crash because they did everything to basically, again, what I said about Deal or No Deal, what they do with Channel 4, they did everything that wasn't the Generation game. So they had, like, when the people were playing the games, they had a celebrity commentator in the background kind of like going, oh, look what they're doing. Isn't that silly? It's like it took away the whole kind of gentle competition family vibe to the game, and I hated what they did with it. But again, Generation game, if cared for and nurtured properly, would make a lovely Saturday night TV show.
No, that's past its time. I think companies, like production companies, bring back these game shows and turn them into celebrity versions just so they can use the celebrities on their books. They literally make it for, the random celebrities from Anyways, Essex, Love Island, all of those people. They can say, we need a show for them. It's like The Wheel they did a celebrity version of The Wheel. How is that possible?
Oh, that's true, because the people on The Wheel were celebrities, and then they had the people playing the game as a celebrity.
That's stupid.
That was random. But they've only ever done that once, to be fair. So they may have realised how stupid that was. But like a show like Blankety Blank was always celebrity, so it makes good sense. But anyway... Let us know by getting in touch with us at Comment Below Pod on X or Instagram at Comment Below _pod, or email commentbelowpod@gmail.com, or comment below if you're watching us on YouTube. If there's any game shows that came back that you actually enjoyed the revamp of, or if there's any game shows you'd like to see return anytime soon, and whether you'd like to see any changes to update it in the modern audience facility.
So next up we have something on here. I've not listened to this. A Jeremy Vine Caller.
Yeah, on his radio show. And it got dark very, very quickly. It was actually someone who sent a message into Jeremy Vine. And Jeremy Vine isn't known for his tact. Let's just put it...
Or his his presenting.
Or preparing well. Yeah. But then, to be fair, it's probably not 100% his fault, because he does a show in the morning for 3 hours and then gets flung onto radio literally half an hour later to do another 2-hour show.
He did choose this.
Yes, I know.
It's kind of his fault for agreeing.
Yes.
And it's the BBC's fault for carrying on, because he's all rubbish. Sorry, Jeremy, but
I sometimes listen to Jeremy Vine when I'm driving, and there's a bit where he throws to the traffic, and I forget the woman's name now who does the traffic, but you can honestly tell he says like a really corny joke, or he makes like a really weird comment, and every time you can just hear like a really loud audible silence of her just sat there, and you can just see her going...
That's what he does.
Thanks, Jeremy.
He's just like, he makes situations awkward for some reason. I don't know why.
And also, he always says, like, I always try to, like, a lot of people say that the reason why he's considered by a lot of people as not particularly a very good kind of presenter for news and topics, which is what he does, basically. He presents a story and then gets people to call in and discuss the story with them. And a lot of people say he's not very good because he's so impartial, that he's so on the fence that he can't take it one way or another. And really, with a show like that, like on LBC, you need someone who is slightly leaning toward one or the other, because then that's where a debate can be established.
Yeah, that's the BBC there. It's drummed into the presenters, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of, wasn't it? Who's the one on LBC now? Andrew Marr. He said it took him ages to... Was it? And I think it was Sheila Fogarty, actually. She said it took her like years to be able to present, not thinking of
the BBC
both sides all the time. She said it took her years to do it. So.
It's funny because LBC actually grab a lot of ex-BBC presenters and go onto there. And it's
because they're good, but they're not quite allowed to say what they want.
But they're not
BBC,
allowed, yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so should we listen to this message? 30 seconds, everyone, okay?
Yeah.
And says, when I was 8, my parents had a boat on the River Hull. One day it rained. The river rose. My parents let my 12-year-old brother drive the boat. We were sunbathing on deck. I went to get a drink just as the galley caved in, because what he'd done is accelerated into Ticton Bridge. I don't know why I'm laughing. Okay. This is not good. The collision took my mum's arm off. Blimey, O'Reilly, I didn't see that coming. If I hadn't gone for a drink, I'd have been decapitated. Okay, well, that's slightly lowered the mood.
No, I don't know if that email is real. I don't know if that email is real or not, and whether it was a prank. But it's just the fact that halfway through, he suddenly realises what the rest of the email is going. So he's laughing. He's like, "Oh, a boat went into another boat or whatever
on the sun deck, having a drink.
Oh, ha ha ha! Oh, and their arm got decapitated, and I almost lost my life." But
is that true? But also, why was it not? Are messages not read by the producers before they send them to Jeremy Vine? I feel that would be a good idea.
Well, I think they are, but again, it's Jeremy Vine. Jeremy Vine has the tact of a 5-year-old child, so he doesn't really know how to react to things. I've seen it happen a few times, but this was just one instance where they brought it up. But I just love some of the comments on here underneath the audio clip. Someone said, my favourite moment when I was listening to him on Radio 2 was when Jeremy was interviewing someone who had lost a family member in a gang shooting. There was after the interview, there was a short silence, a solemn moment. And he said, "And we'll be right back after Jean Bon Jovi and Shot in the Heart." He's like, does he not realise?
No, he doesn't.
Does he not realise? It's so funny. But yeah, no, I mean, he has a reputation as being a bit not fairy, that's an awful thing to say, but a little
fairy
floaty, a bit like he's neither one way or another, and he doesn't have the kind of the authority that you would expect from the BBC, and I think that's why the BBC hire him, because he's a little bit kind of like light and floaty, and like he kind of take a dark topic.
Yeah, he asks really ridiculous questions. I don't like his style. He's just no.
Someone said he was reading out stories about ski accidents a while back, and someone said something about being behind a yogurt lorry that crashed, leaking yogurt everywhere. He didn't see the link, just went straight over his head. As in ski yogurt.
Oh, I didn't get it either.
Okay.
I'm just as bad as
maybe
him.
You are too. Maybe you are too. But yeah, to be fair, there's a lot of hate for Jeremy Vine, I have to say, and I feel like
everyone hates him because he goes on about bikes all the time as well, don't they?
Oh, well,
he
that's
films
not
himself.
his fault.
He films himself every morning and posts it on Twitter, doesn't he? Being like,
you hate him because on his TV show on Channel 5, he makes his own animations on his iPad of an evening. Like you can just imagine him at home, like making his little animations.
I know, and he thinks he's so.
And he thinks they're funny.
He's so cringe. I don't like him. I don't not like him, but he's just really cringy. Don't like it.
Okay, so final story then for this episode, and as you may have noticed, I'm wearing my. I'm actually really hot. I'm not going to lie. I'm sweating. This was a real big mistake. But I actually had it on because it is been cold today.
What is it? You haven't said.
It's cold.
No, what you've got on for the audio.
It's a snooty or something, isn't it called? Oh, sorry. It's one of those thick kind of like blankets that it's like a poncho blanket, but it's really thick and warm, and it's got a hood. And mine's got designs of pizza on it with eyes. It looks like something from Cuphead kind of pictures. I did offer to buy you one with aubergines on it because I thought that would suit you, but you were like, no, don't want one of them. Anyway, it's been snowing today as we record this as well, so it's super cold in the UK right now. And someone on grandnet.com forum, something I didn't even know existed.
I know, when I saw this link, I was like, Mumsnet, I know because it's awful, but like Grandnet.
Because,
but like I saw, so before you even go on, like I just wanted to look on this website.
Yeah.
And it's like the first article is, what age should babies start swimming? It's like, why is that a guide for grandparents?
Well, because the parents might be busy at work, and so the grandparents pick up.
Well, the grandparents have already been parents if they're grandparents.
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
maybe they didn't teach their children to swim, but now their children knows that it's an important skill to learn. So they've told their parents to take their kids to the swimming baths after school so they can learn to swim. And maybe the grandparents can swim with them and learn.
These news articles are so funny. This one's like how to get on top of your email inbox.
I mean, to be fair, elderly people, have you seen the number that's on that blooming envelope on their iPads? That's another thing. Elderly people love an iPad. They love an iPad. You never see, honestly, if you ask an elderly person a question, like if you ask my dad a question, he's like, I'll just find out. And he doesn't get his phone. He doesn't pop anywhere else. He just picks up his iPad, gets the stubbing device that they use as well, which they bought off like Temu or something like that for like £10, not knowing that they've given away all their information. And elderly people love
the
an
articles
iPad.
on here are just ridiculous.
Well,
Anyway.
At least you found Grandsnet. There's
Yeah, well, I'm going to be a
but I
top
think
member.
it's why Grandsnet? Why not ParentsNet? Why not GrandparentsNet? You know, I don't know. Just feel like it's biased toward the female kind, but then I don't care that much as a joke. So
Best slow cooker recipes.
well, that's quite helpful to be fair in this climate.
How to get glowing skin.
But look, listen, and
How to make friends over 50.
fine, look,
I need
listen.
that. I'm going to read that in a minute.
Okay.
Sorry,
Are
carry
you
on.
over 50? So on Nansnet, Nansnet would have been better as well. Grandsnet is a stupid name. Nansnet.
Maybe it's already one.
Pay me letter. So basically, someone on Grandsnet questioned something they saw online where people were saying that when it gets so cold in the winter that it becomes more difficult to spread Marmite on their bread when they're having a sandwich or toast, anything like that. Now,
Is that true?
it is true, yes.
Okay, have you found it? I mean, do you think that's a true?
I eat Marmite, so yes, I know it's true.
Okay.
I know it's true, 100%, because in the summer it's much easier to spread Marmite. And also, if you spread Marmite on hot toast or hot baguette, it always melts into the bread. While if you put it on just a plain piece of bread, it cuts the bread in half in the winter time.
Butter
So, yes,
does that
it's true.
sometimes.
Also true when it's cold. But unlike Water Meadow on Grandsnet, I don't believe that they've decided in a kind of tin hat conspiracy theory that they've changed the consistency of it just to save costs. So Water Meadow said, I've eaten Marmite most of my life and remember the giant jar with fondness, but I'm sure the consistency has changed. It used to be like a paste, similar to peanut butter. Now it's sticky. Bring your knife out laden for your toast and it's like a golden syrup, leaving viscous threads everywhere. I mean, she's angry at this supposed change in the recipe of Marmite. A lot of people told her that she's wrong on the website. But do you think that Marmite would like change like the consistency of its spread, this world famous known spread, without telling anyone
I've
that they've
never
done
even
it?
had. Well, I've had a bit of Marmite in the Domino's thing once, but apart from that, it's not.
Marmite's delicious.
I don't like it. It's too
it's one of the
sticky and just annoying to hold, and I just don't
You
like
don't
it.
have to hold
It gets
I don't get the
everywhere.
Marmite and hold it in
I
my
actually,
hand. and go,
I actually agree with her because like there's lots of threads come off of it, don't they?
on Grandsnet?
Yeah, didn't she say something about threads? Yeah, that's what happens, and it just goes on your fingers and then on the side.
Yeah, but then you go, it's the best
No,
part.
don't like it. Annoys me.
I am a jar licker. When the look at me, my mouth's watering. When the Marmite is at the end of its life cycle and there's only the remnants of the sides left, I get this finger and I dip it in and I swirl it round and I give it a good lick because Marmite is the food of gods, and I truly believe that Marmite could end all wars on this planet.
I don't like
if
it.
everyone just sat down and ate a jar of Marmite.
Blossoming has posted, I haven't noticed any change,
Why have you put on a voice?
but it's usually Mr. Blossom that makes toast for me in the morning. So,
Oh, that's nice of
Yeah.
Mr. Blossom.
Yeah.
Because a lot of elderly women have to get home to give their.
I know.
I worked in a well-known glasses sellers in the UK,
Right.
and I remember there was one woman who she was of pensioner age, and I was fitting her glasses, and she said, "I'm sorry." You've got me doing the voice now. I'm sorry, but I cannot stay for much longer because I need to get home to cook my husband's lunch. And I said, can your husband not cook his own lunch?
No.
She said, no, I've done it for him the whole time we've been married.
It
And
always
I thought-
happens.
And it's sad though, because if she was to die, then he wouldn't know how to make himself a
I was just
simple.
about to say,
Yeah,
it
sorry.
happens all the time when the wife dies. The older generation normally, but like when the wife dies and leaves the husband, they don't have a clue what to do. It happens a lot. That's
think
why
it's
those
sad.
businesses where they deliver meals are so popular.
Oh, the thingy Wiltshire Farm Foods. When this guy comes over the door and he's going, "Hello there, Beryl. I've brought you frozen meals."
It's even like a simple thing they don't know how to do. Some of them
That's
husbands,
what I mean. Like cooking pasta.
toast or anything.
Cooking toast.
Yeah, cooking bread. Sorry,
toasting bread. Yes.
Right. Maybe I'm going to be one of those. Who knows? But it's just it's very sad. But a lot of people are saying they love Marmite and don't agree with this woman. So.
Well, fair enough.
Someone says I think they've made it runnier so they can use the squeezy jars.
Well, I saw that comment, and I went online to see if they still, because I've not seen that in the shop for years, and I actually used to hate that one because I agree with them. I used to think they made it somehow runnier, and it tasted that. Now I'm turning into Water Vessel or whatever her name is. What was her name? Water Meadow. This is my tin hat moment. I genuinely believed that they did water down the squeezy Marmite because it never tasted as good as when you took it from the jar. Another thing is that I could never share. I could share it with you because, bodily fluids have been shared in the past. But I could never share a jar of Marmite with anyone else because you're double dipping that knife all the time. But then I could argue the same with like jam or any kind of spread. I don't like the idea of that.
I'm loving, so I'm not even listening to you.
I know you're not.
The names because I just love the old names. Hetty. Don't get enough Hetties anymore.
No,
Fanny.
More Hetty. Fanny. Do you like a Fanny?
Don't get them anymore, do you?
What did Fanny say? Or was it just a...
I just like the name Pam.
What about Blossom?
Blossom. See, they're all like Coco, Willow.
Castell here.
Gosh. Elizabeth.
It's
all these old-fashioned names on here. Wonderful.
It's a lovely note to end on. I would say that if you've enjoyed watching the show, don't forget to get in touch, subscribe, click the like button, and let your friends know that you listen to this nonsense. Us reading out old people's names at the end of an episode. And if there's any stories you'd like us to cover, or indeed you want to comment on that we've covered this week, or indeed throughout the whole of our Vlogmas, which Ben's rightly said, we've got an episode every day. So if you ring the bell on YouTube or subscribe on your favourite podcast app, you'll never miss an episode. You can go to Twitter/X @commentbelowpod, Instagram @commentbelow_pod, or email commentbelowpod@gmail.com. And don't forget to let your friends know all about us. If you enjoy listening, don't forget to give us 5 stars and comment below to let people know why you enjoy listening to the podcast. And if you want to help fund the podcast, just go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful.
That's right. And I did forget to get a Facebook mum quote of the week, but because they post them so often, I just opened Facebook and there's one there. Ta-da. So I don't even need to work. So we leave you every week with a Facebook mum post quote of the week. Get my teeth in. So you don't need anyone's permission to speak of your pain. You have the right to tell your story, even if others are uncomfortable with it. Very deep meanings there for the Crushed Velvet gang. So we will see you all...
The Crushed Velvet gang whose names you like listening to.
Yes. We'll see you next week for the main show, but obviously we're there every day for this month for Vlogmas. So
Vlogmas.
Sounds
like you said Fogmas. Anyway, should we get wrapped up? Because I am literally going to die.
Yeah. Unwrapped.
Yes, if I don't unwrap.
See you next week. Bye.
But see you tomorrow for Vlogmas.